What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another DID video. So, as you guys know, I have a pretty big system. As the host, I have to keep track of everything. But what I don't talk about very often is others that are no longer here. And it's usually due to integration, or I've lost contact and I don't know where they are. That's why I'm kind of starting today with a little bit of talk about integration. It turns out I was kind of wrong about it. Not necessarily how it made my others feel, what they may have experienced, but how I perceived it. My others experienced it as what they called a Thanos snap, where essentially they fade away, which is terrifying and very upsetting. For me, it's more that I can't hear them anymore, I don't know where they are in my brain, or my system, or anything, and it's like losing contact with a friend who no longer speaks to you. The other I wanted to talk about today, we used to call her Witch's Britches. She was a witch who did potions and tarot readings and all kinds of things like that, and was very, very secluded. She liked to keep to herself with her black cat. I believe the cat's name was Midnight. Now, she lived by herself in, I believe, a place called the Witch's Glen. I don't remember exactly what the name was, because it's been a while since I've actually written about it. But she had a small hut that she kept to herself in. People would come there to get help with things, and she was very, very useful. Well, after a certain point, I no longer really had communication with her, and I figured, oh, maybe she's got her own thing going on, or she's just non-communicative, or something like that. Come to find out later, she has fully integrated. And she integrated around the same time that I started getting more into the spiritual side of things, with my paganism and the Wicca and everything, and I believe she's the reason that I have a spell board. In terms of her role, because she had been around a little longer than most, I'm not certain of what it was. Like, I don't know hardly anything. I know hardly anything about her. And my others refuse to talk about her very often, because it's just painful. They generally want to kind of address her in a really respectable way, saying she was nice, she did a lot of good things, she helped a lot of others and a bunch of other people. But it's very, very sad to learn that I never really got to know her. But I'm also kind of happy that at least part of me has integrated. Now, apparently she's not the only one that has been integrated, but she's the only one that I know about. Some of the other ones, I think there was one originally, I don't even know if this is really an other what it was, but it was a girl, and we called her Heartbreak. She was completely black in color with very long black hair, but instead of a normal face, because it was cloaked in shadow, she looked like a voodoo doll. She had like black red stitches right here in the shape of X's, a broken heart symbol here, and a stitched mouth. She could speak, but it was very difficult. I don't know if that was really considered an other. I don't know if that was something that I came up with to cope with everything because I didn't understand. But from what I understand, she might have been. And she might have been there to help me cope with having my heart broken so many times. I really don't know. And that's kind of why I was thinking about this for a while and thinking, how do I discuss integration? Talk about some of the ones that have. And I'll be real with you. I know integration's not really my decision. And I do ultimately leave that up to my others, but it also scares me. Well, while DID isn't fun to deal with, it's obviously a coping mechanism and everything, you do get kind of attached to the other parts of yourself. You start to feel like you're not alone. You feel like you're family. You become like this. You become so, like this. You become close. In hearing described as like Thanos just going, I'm inevitable, really puts it in perspective and scares me a little bit, and I can see why they're very against it, because it seems very upsetting and very painful. But from what Serenity has told me in the past, it's very peaceful. They generally go out with a smile and say that, this isn't the end. Obviously, I have compared this on my personal time to a Steven Universe fusion. The only difference is, in Steven Universe, they can unfuse. Once they're integrated, that's where they're going to stay. It is very similar. I like to compare it to Garnet from Steven Universe, because she is one of the most permanent fusions in the show. Like, obviously she's unfused occasionally, which does not match DID, but that being said, she's fused 99% of the time, aside from maybe like 2 or 3 episodes, I think. Maybe a few more. And every other time, she's together. And I think that does match what it's like to be integrated. I still don't deal well with heartbreak, but I'd cope with it better, because I have ways of escapism. I still practice my magic, my craft, basically. Doing like tarot. I don't do tarot cards, but I do my spirit board readings. I heavily practice manifestation, which she was very interested in at the time. That I didn't really know DID, but I was talking to parts of myself, so it was very strange. Like, she was very much into that sort of stuff. She was very into creation magic and helping others. And I think that has carried over into who I am today. That being said, am I upset they're gone? Of course. Like, I'm very upset about that. Like, I wish they were here to see what we're all doing, and I kind of tell myself, like, hey, they're here, they're just not like everybody else. They're looking through my eyes into the future, and it helps to think that way. Like we'll look towards the future together. But at the same time, you start to feel a little bit alone. You know what I mean? And I'll probably never have a time where I'm completely alone in my own brain. And that's okay. For me, that's completely fine. Because then if I'm ever feeling alone, I can talk to someone. I know it seems weird to say that, since I'd literally just be sitting there being like this, talking to my mind, like I did earlier. But with all the trials and tribulations that come with this disorder, there's a lot of good that comes out of it as well. I get to tell people about my experiences, for example, which is something I don't think I've ever really done in depth before. Like, I've done one-off things about my experiences with certain aspects, but it's never been like this, where I can just, talk to a camera for 10, 15 plus minutes about a subject, like a member of the system or an area within it. And I start to realize I can help people this way. And obviously my experiences are going to be very, very different from another person's. Every system is different, every other is different. Some systems, like mine and a few others, have unique roles. Like, obviously the Seeker role is very unique to mine. It's funny, because every time I say Seeker, I just think of Harry Potter with them chasing a snitch. I swear I'm not obsessed with Harry Potter. I just enjoy it occasionally. I'm not Garrett Watts level of obsessed, let's put it that way. I do enjoy it, though, occasionally. I'm more obsessed with Pokemon. But, you know, I don't want anybody to be afraid of integration. If you have DID, don't ever be afraid of it. It doesn't have to be a goal. If you have open communication with your system and they don't want to integrate, they don't have to. Just know that it can be a goal, and a lot of them choose to in various systems. So, and here's the part that scares me about this, is that I can integrate. That scares me. I didn't realize the host could until recently with by watching Dissociative. And the reason that scares me is I've started liking myself a little bit more as time has gone on, and my fear is that if I integrate, I will no longer be myself. And obviously, like, I don't want that to happen. I want to stay around and see things and feel okay again. But I want everybody watching this to know, if there comes a time where Viola disappears and you're kind of talking to someone else on camera, know that it was probably my choice. I don't know why I would ever choose that, but honestly, I don't know. Like, I don't even know if it is a choice. Is it for the host? God, there's so much I don't understand. But honestly, for that to be a thing frightens me. Not because I'm scared of being forgotten about. Because it's a strange feeling to think that who you are as a person, how you think and how you act could disappear and be meshed with somebody else to become a totally new person. You know, it's not a bad thing. I'm not trying to paint it that way. But it is a very unnerving concept to me and to many other people. And I'm kind of stumbling over my words a little bit, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just new to this whole thing. I'm relatively new to this whole concept of this disorder and learning about it. Sorry, I'm going to clear my throat a little bit. So, long story short, it's not a bad thing to integrate, but it's a choice. A choice that they have to make, a choice that you have to be a part of. So don't force it, don't let a therapist force it. Seriously, do not. When I was in therapy, my therapist was very nice. She asked me if that was a goal, and I said no. And it wasn't just me saying that. It was everyone. We have had moments, though, where some of us have been like, oh, maybe better if I did. You know, that happens. But as it is right now, it's not on the bucket list. If one of them chooses to do this, then great. You know, I'm not going to stop them. If they want to, I completely get it. But I'd rather keep my family together for now. As selfish as that seems, I know it's not my choice. But if I had my way, we'd stick together. I'm not trying to make this depressing. I'm really not. Anyway, I want to kind of end this with a basic idea of what that essentially means to integrate. It's essentially like a puzzle. You're putting the pieces back together. And it's like you superglued them. They can't come apart anymore. It's essentially putting yourself back together from the pieces that had separated from the start. And once they're together, they're stuck like glue. long story short on that one. You know, I compared it a second ago to Steven Universe fusion, and that's not a bad analogy. It's not a perfect one, but it's not bad. I think a more accurate representation is a Potara fusion from Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z. Like, you put on the earrings, one on one ear, one on horses in this ear, they're permanently fused together into one entity. Obviously, that's kind of retconned in things, but that's what the general premise was. When Goku and Vegeta originally were told about it, they said, if you put these on, you are permanently fused together. You'll never be able to come apart again. Don't want to talk about the implications of those two being together, but ultimately that was what they were told. And they decided to take a risk to beat this enemy being a supermoon. So basically, the way I see it, it's more like that than it is a gem fusion. Because gem fusions can come apart and fuse together at will. With Potara, you're stuck. Let's put it that way. So imagine, for example, me, the host, and Witch's Britches, someone who's already integrated. We each put on an earring. I put one here, she puts one here. Fused into one. Can't come apart, stuck that way. That's generally what it is. And that's honestly all I really know. I know I'm not the most helpful. There's a lot of other little details that I'm probably skimming over with this, and I probably repeated a few things. And I'm sorry, I always repeat myself. But anyway, that's all I have right now. Thanks so much for watching. I greatly appreciate you stopping by. I always do. If you like what I do here, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Ring the bell, whatever. Definitely leave me comments. It actually helps a lot with the way YouTube is nowadays, and it helps us get out there a little bit more. You're beautiful, you're valued, and you're important. That is very, very, very important to me and everybody up here. And I will see you in the next video I make. So until then, goodbye.